Hello everyone. Today we will talk about the different types of matrices that there are and how to identify them. Now, we have many different types of matrices depending on what subject we may be studying or what lesson we are reviewing. So, for example, as we talked about before, we can have different matrices with different dimensions. So, for example, we can have let's say, this right here would be a 2 by 3 matrix. They're defined by rows and columns. These would be rows, these would be columns, and the numbers define how many rows and columns there are in a certain matrix. Now, we can have different types of matrices depending on how many rows or columns that we have. So let's say, for example, we have a matrix. Sorry, let me change the color. We have a matrix that is this. This is known as a row matrix since it only has one row of numbers but multiple columns. So it's a row matrix. And as you might guess, in this example, this would be known as a column matrix since it only has one column and various other rows of numbers. Now, we can also define matrices based on their shapes or what they resemble. So, for example, if we have a 3 by 3 matrix that is, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can also call this a square matrix since it resembles a square shape like this. Also, if we write let's say we have a 3 by 4. So we have 1, 1, 1. This would be more of a rectangular shape, and this would be called a rectangular matrix. And these are just some shapes that we can use to identify some of the matrices that we can have. You can also have triangular, which is just when the numbers that are in a matrix are just zeros, and then we have numbers over here, and it's just like a triangle shape that we can identify inside a matrix. But those aren't typically used in the math equations or something like that. Now, we also have this special type of matrices called constant matrices. And the most important one of these is called the identity matrix. And this does come in handy a lot of cases due to their implications in some equations or operations that we may use. Now, an identity matrix is basically a matrix that has a diagonal line of zeros, and it's an identity because this is the reduced form of a matrix, and it is the most base form for a matrix to be. So this identity can be referred to as the letter I, and it can be used in equations as the identity matrix, and then it's multiplied or divided by other numbers. So like I said, it's always a diagonal line from left to right, and it's only ones and zeros. Now, for other constant matrices, it is either a matrix with only ones, or a matrix with only zeros. These are not used as much, but they're still important to know since they fall into the same category as constant matrices. Another type we have are called Boolean matrices, and those are called Boolean, and that consists of a matrix that has only ones and zeros. So, for example, if you have this would be a Boolean matrix. Any other example or pattern or matrix that has only ones and zeros is a Boolean matrix. Like I said, it's not used often, but it's still important to know. So there is a wide variety of matrices that we use in our day-to-day operations with the matrices. But like we said, we should always remember the most important ones, like the identity matrix, we can also do the constant matrices, and other matrices that we use are important as well. So these are just the wide variety that you will use every day if you're working with matrices or you're doing equations with these matrices. So make sure that you remember them, and later on we'll show you operations with these matrices and how we can use them in equations. So if you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments so we can get back to you. Please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like these. We greatly appreciate your support, and it would mean that we can make more videos like these. Thank you and have a great day.